Psychologist. It's time for The Pet Show with America's favorite pet expert, Warren Eckstein. Warren is the author of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want and How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. He's here to answer all your pet and animal questions. And now, Warren Eckstein.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to The Pet Show. Is your Pekingese acting a bit peculiar? Does your Siamese kitten have you ready for a shrink? Are you being scolded by your schnauzer? Well, if you love animals, care about wildlife and the environment, and want to really take the time to understand your dog or cat's behavior as well as they understand yours, if you're a bit confused about your dog or cat or just want to improve their lifestyle, you know what to do. Stay tuned because once again, right here, right now, it is time for The Pet Show. America's first and only real pet psychology, pet training, pet behavior, and of course, pet lifestyle show. So hop up on my couch. Bring those adorable little furry buddies with you, folks, because yes, it is that time once again to let the animal analyzing begin. Hello, everybody. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show, the place where we absolutely, positively, never a doubt about it, love, adore, and as I stress every single week, respect pets and animals as much as you do. If you have a question about your dog or cat's behavior, they're jumping, humping, digging, scratching, not using the litter box, confused about the dog next door, you can't take your dog for a walk, your cat doesn't like the new cat that moved in, your dog can't deal with your in-laws when they come over, that's what we do here on The Pet Show. We help resolve any issues that you may be having with your dogs or cats, and as I say every week, a lot more issues that your dog or cats may be having with you. If you happen to be new to the show, let me just remind everyone before I give that number out that every single person that calls into the show with a question, a comment, a story, it makes no difference. You want to just talk about how great your dog is. Everyone that calls into the show today and gets to talk to me live on the air will in turn get a fabulous, well, let me rephrase that. Their pet will get a fabulous gift. And again, if you're new, many of the items I'm giving away in the show today could be worth as much as 30, 40, 50, 60, even more. So great time to give me a call. If you have a question, if you have a comment, the phone number here at The Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Now, before I go into the topics, and every week, I share topics with you, and sometimes we get to them, sometimes we don't, but just a reminder that every topic I don't get to, I will cut a video from my YouTube channel. And if you've yet to subscribe, check out youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Now, before I get to what I have planned for today's show, as you may know, as everyone knows by now, the devastation of the fires in Maui. What a lot of you may not know is that you know by now that after I do this show, I do my international show that goes all over the United States and all over Canada. One of my strongest stations, and one of the stations I've been on the longest, I don't know, maybe 20 years, is KAOI in Maui. So I'm quite familiar with Maui. I've made appearances there at the Maui Pet Shop, other places. Devastated, absolutely devastated, as is everyone. So I'm going to take a different approach. Of course, our hearts, our souls go out to all of those people suffering because of the fires there. I mean, the devastation is unbelievable. I've got photos from friends, and I have friends there and people there. So what I'm going to do in the second hour of today's show, listen, when we have earthquakes here, when we have fires here, when they have hurricanes. I served as a spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security right after Hurricane Katrina. They asked me to put together a disaster program for pets, which I did. And by the way, if you want to download it, you can go to my website, thepetshow.com. What I'm going to do in the second hour, I'm going to take all your questions. So if your dog's peeing or humping or mouthing, I will get to those. But in the second hour, the top of the second hour, I'll be speaking to Katie Shannon. Katie Shannon is actually director of marketing at the Maui Humane Society. So we'll be speaking to Katie in the second hour just for a few minutes because she's got a lot of crazy things to do, a lot of interviews with CNN and other shows, but she's coming on the Pet Show first, of course, because we've been on Maui for so many years and just an amazing place. So what I'm going to do is in the second hour when I'm speaking to Katie and we find out, and this is how we're going to find out exactly what's needed there. Can you imagine, and I've been reading the emails, I posted some of these on my Facebook page as well. Can you imagine not knowing if your dog or cat is alive? Can you imagine not being able to get to your dogs or cats because they can't let you in because it's still the whole place, Lahaina, is still in a recovery situation? The amount of people, I can't even express in words how devastating this is to people. And so many people living here in Southern California, it's kind of like Hawaii is their second home. Come on, how many of you travel to Maui once a year or every other year for a vacation? So this is absolutely devastating. And there's a lot of coverage in terms of what's going on with the humanitarian work there, and it's absolutely amazing. At the same time, though, in fact, I posted a picture of a burned cat this morning. It's okay, so if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see it. The animals there need us, and they're going to need us. So for those of my listeners, and everyone's always helped out when we had problems or other problems on the other parts, in the second hour, I want you to listen carefully as I speak to Katie from the Maui Humane Society directly and see what they really need. What they need, and it's just unbelievable. They're out of food, they're out of this, they're out of everything. So we're going to talk to Katie in the second hour, so stay tuned, don't miss that. And if you have some questions that you want me to ask her, feel free to give me a call right now. Again, the number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. If you love animals, you're going to want to listen to the whole show today because I got a lot of stuff to cover with you. Let me tell you what I plan on talking about, and hopefully we'll have time. I do. You guys are absolutely the most amazing listeners in the world. You guys have the biggest hearts in the world as well. Not only here in my Los Angeles, but also my international listeners on my Radio America show. That means the majority of calls coming right into the show on a regular basis are from people just like you that have either rescued or adopted their dogs. So today, let's talk about what to do after you bring a newly adopted dog into your home. So many times people don't know, they panic. I thought the dog was going to be mellow. What do you do when you first bring a newly adopted dog into your home? We'll talk about that. Also coming up on today's show, how many people have this problem? You put your dog foods down, he sticks his tongue out at you and says, I don't want to eat here. So he picks up his food and he moves it somewhere else. Either he takes the whole dish and puts it in the living room, takes a mouthful, dumps it on your bed. Stress whining. A lot of dogs stress whine. So we're going to talk all about that today. As always, plenty of time for your questions and comments. Lots of pretty amazing stuff to give away. So if your dog happens to be, or your cat happens to be jumping, chewing, scratching, confused about the litter box, not housebroken, that poor new rescue dog, your dog doesn't get along with other dogs, you can't walk him because he sees another dog, he goes crazy and literally believes anything he sees he must hump, give me a call. That's what this show's all about. As I said, helping your pets live with the neurosis of human beings. Again, the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. As always, plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away on today's show. And the question of the day is, and this kind of came up the other day, and I should have changed it with what's going on there. We'll try to get that fixed. But if you have a question and you want to, we're going to ask it on YouTube, you can give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Now, again, we live here in Southern California. I'm going to get to you, Anna, I promise. We live here in Southern California, and sooner or later, we have our scenarios as well, whether it be earthquakes, whether it be fires on the East Coast, where I grew up, you never know by my accent, on Long Island, hurricanes, flooding, all kinds of situations like that. And it's so important that everyone prepares themselves, because we never think it's going to happen to us, and that's usually when it happens right away. So I want everyone to be prepared to make sure that they have evacuation kits for themselves. They're ready to leave on a moment's notice. They didn't even have a moment's notice in Lahaina, but also for your pets, if your pets are on medication or whatever. So if you go to my website, thepetshow.com, and just so you know, everything on my website and my YouTube channel is absolutely free. I mean, if you want to order the product, that's different. But everything there, all the information there is free. If you go to my website and you do the search for disaster planning, come up will be the list that I put together for the Department of Homeland Security, and everyone should have a copy of that list. In fact, give it to your friends, do what you need to do with it. Everyone should have a copy of that list. So again, of course, our hearts go out for the Maui Humane Society and all the people in Lahaina and in Maui, and it's really important that our hearts go out to them, and it makes me feel good that we feel that way. But, you know, feeling bad is important, but helping resolve the devastation that they're going through and helping them fulfill whatever needs they have at the moment are absolutely critical. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to answer all your pet and animal questions for the next hour or so. So if your dog or cat is peeing poop, you know this drill. If that's what's going on, great time to give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Now's the time to give me a call. I want to hear your thoughts as well on what went on in Lahaina and Maui. And if you're prepared, if something were to happen for your pets, give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. And if you think your call doesn't matter, it really does. And here's what I mean about that. Your information, you sharing something right here, right now with thousands and thousands of people can make the difference in terms of, you know, I didn't think about maybe I should do that for my pets if there was some major problem that took place. So I'd love to hear from people that have either prepared or are preparing in case of a disaster for their pets. And as I said, later on, we'll be talking, I think we're the first people to talk directly to the Maui Humane Society, who, by the way, was overwhelmed before the fires took place. You can imagine what's going on there now. So we'll talk to them in a little bit. If you have questions or comments, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Anna, hold on there. I got to take a commercial break. When I come back, I'll get to your phone calls. And when I go to commercial, if you have a question or comment, now's a great time to call me, 866-870-5752. I'll tell you about my friends over at Lucy Pet. You've heard me And we are back on the Pet Show. Great time to give me a call. Do have a couple of open lines. I know it gets busy after a while. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-57. Plenty of time for your great stuff to give away. I'll be giving away lots of Lucy pet food, kitty lickies, my own Hugs and Kisses supplements, copies of my best-selling books, T-shirts, all natural herbal flea spray. If you have one of those dogs that scoots its butt on the ground, I got stuff for that. I got, as I said, herbal flea spray, lots of great stuff. When that calls in and gets to talk to me, we'll get a great gift. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. And again, I guess we got YouTube up and running again. So if you have a question you want to ask on YouTube, it's simply youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. All right, let's go to Anna, who's been holding on for a bit. Hey, Anna, welcome to the Pet Show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking my call.
It's my pleasure, Anna. How can I help you today?
Oh, wait a second. I think I'm just losing you.
No, I'm here. I hear you.
Okay. You hear me. All right.
Absolutely.
I kind of hear. Okay. The reason I'm calling is we just brought in a 5-year-old, 6-pound Papillon who had just recently, in the past maybe 2 months, lost her last litter. She's had, from what I understand, she's had in her 5 years of life 4 litters. She's small, but that's not my issue.
So she came from a puppy mill or just one of those obsessive breeders?
No. She came from a very reputable owner, breeder, handler, and she has been in shows the first year of her life and did in fact get best of shows, etc. And the reason that we were given the opportunity is because I'm sorry, hello?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. We were given the opportunity because a very dear friend of ours is also doing something similar. We had a Papillon who had a catastrophic heart event, and she just died very suddenly. And we were devastated. And when my friend realized it and knew that my little Sassy needed to find a home because she was not going to be bred any longer, they recommended us that we be the family that she consider having this little dog because.
Okay, so this Papillon, which a breed I'm very familiar with, the little butterfly dog. This Papillon was used for breeding purposes. Had litters.
No, well, she was a show dog, and then.
But she was bred.
She
obviously she finished her championship. She got her points.
Right.
They bred her, and the puppies were sold or whatever. But anyway, she was bred 5 times, 4 times, whatever the number. Now she comes into your home. She's going to be coming in, or she is at your home. And after 5 years of being on the show circuit, how long ago did she retire from the show circuit?
She probably retired about 3 years ago.
And where was she living in that last 3-year period?
Well, she was living, I think the first couple of years she was living with her owner, breeder, handler, who lived in California, who then relocated out of state. So she was up in Fresno with a friend so that she didn't go through the transition.
Okay, so the dog's been around. Okay, the dog's been campaigned. Obviously, she went from one home to another home. Now she's in your home. So your question to me from my computer is basically you're having potty issues with the dog. So tell me a little bit about those housebreaking issues.
Okay, she obviously has no familiarity with the wee pet. Zero zippity doodah. However, and we tried to take her down in our building. We have a dog park. And she was very nervous and very cautious about any other dog coming in. It really got her very uncomfortable. Any leaf, that's everything. It just got.
By the way, that's not unusual behavior for a dog that was used as a breeding dog.
Yeah, so therefore we figured what we have done with our other Papillons, we get sod and we put it out on our terrace. And so we wanted her to do that because we figured that would be something that would be easier for her. There wouldn't be other distractions, and she would get accustomed to that. And so the suggestion was, if I'm looking at videos and everything, we put her, after eating, we put her out there, close the screen door, and hide and watch and see if she would go. And it took her a while to want to own that. Mostly, though, when she came, she wouldn't. And when she
So,
came
but let me get to the bottom line is that you want the dog to use either the wee-wee pads outside on your patio, correct?
No, I want her to use the sod outside on my patio.
Okay, so here's what you need to do. You need to save her poop and her urine that she had at places where you didn't want her to go, and you need to put those outside. Simply cover them with a paper towel so the scent is strong, but they're there. The more she goes out...
That.
No, there's no such thing. Listen to me. There's no such thing as trying, only progress in small steps. And when someone says to me they tried something, they didn't try it to the point where they got the success they should get. There's no such thing as trying. You keep at it until you resolve the problem. Now, if I sound a little assertive, it's only because this poor dog has had 3-4 different homes, was campaigned, taken to this show, taken to that show, exposed to all kinds of other dogs. So the problem in terms of her going or urinating or defecating should be really easy. If she traveled that much to shows, she should be used to going in a lot of different areas where there are a lot of dogs. So it kind of tells me something isn't, I don't know, maybe she only went to bench shows. I don't know. Anyway, more important than that, right now, go back to exactly what I said. Every single day, every single time you put her out there, the poop and the urine needs to be out there. If you want, you can use the wee-wee pads. You can put those on top of the sod right now, or the fake grass, whatever it is, and you can put the poop and the urine underneath that, cover it up. Once she goes out there 3 or 4 times, you are on target. But you got to be consistent. And again, I say you try this. You don't try. You do it until you get the results. That's how behavior works. You don't try something. If it's not working, jump to something else. That creates confusion. Continuity is the way to resolve it. So here's simple advice. Anytime she goes in the house, clean it up with a good stain and odor remover, enzymes made specifically for pets. Don't overly correct her. You may want to try putting a little bit of her treat or food in the area where she went after you cleaned it up so she won't go back to that area. When you go outside with her and you put the poop down, if you want to use the pads and cover that up or a paper towel, it doesn't make any difference. Once she goes out there 3, 4, 5 times, your problem's over and done with. Now, there's still going to be some accidents. You're going to have to deal with that. But the continuity factor makes all the difference in the world. And again, we're not dealing with a dog that was adopted from a shelter. We're dealing with a dog that should have been tremendously socialized. I mean, when they judge, I used to broadcast from the garden. When they judge these dogs, especially Papillons, very often they're up on top of the table. So the bottom line is a lot going on in this poor dog. You know, the breeding factor and this factor and that factor and moving here, a different person, a different location, a different home. It's continuity. How long have you had her now?
Not quite 3 weeks yet.
Okay, yeah, give her some time to decompress. I mean, really, let's give this dog a little bit of a...
Absolutely, but that's why I called you, because a very dear friend suggested that this, because I do believe what you're saying is totally correct. She needs time to adjust. And I'm going to do a whole... Give us a pass.
I'm going to do a whole segment on that later, talking about the decompression period. And it usually takes like 3 to 6 weeks. And even though it might be cozier where you are and quieter where you are, they still need the time to work through the stress of the changes.
Absolutely. And get accustomed to the new family.
Absolutely. Give it some more time. Call me back if we're still running into a problem. In the meantime, I'm going to put you on hold. And for your puppy, I am going to send you a little Papillon. I'm going to send you a jar of my own hugs and kisses for your pet. And I appreciate the phone call. Great time to give me a call. I know it's tough to get through sometimes, but I do have a couple of open lines. The phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I just gave some hugs and kisses away. I got Lucy pet food to give away. If you have a cat, I got some kitty lickies. The question of the day: do you feel more comfortable around pets or people? And do you have any comments about what's going on in Lahaina? How would you feel, or what would you do if you couldn't know, if you had no idea whether your dog or your cat was alive, or you couldn't get to see them? I want to get some feelings from you before I talk to Kate from the Maui Humane Society in the next hour. Again, the phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. A quick break, then back to your calls. And we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Got a question or comment? Dog jumping, digging, cat scratching, not using the litter box, peeing on your bed, not getting along with the other cats in the household. You can't take your dog for a walk because he sees another dog and goes nuts. That's what we do here on the Pet Show. That's what we've been doing for the last 43 years, is helping resolve any issues in a positive way. And when in doubt, we never blame it on the pet. We always assume that it's something that the parents or the guardians are doing wrong. So if you have a question or comment about your dog, I want to share a great story. I want to hear from some people out there that have adopted older pets as well. One of the most difficult times for shelters across America, probably across the world, is finding homes for older dogs that turn out to be the most incredible dogs and cats in the world. So if you've adopted an older dog or cat, give me a call. I want to hear from you. I'll send you something, but more important than that is every time I get calls from people that have rescued or adopted senior dogs, senior cats, the response from the audience, they go out the next day and hit the shelter saying, look, I want the older dogs and older cats. Those are the ones I want to look for. So if you've adopted an older dog or cat, I want to hear from you. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Someone wrote to me this week and said, Warren, old dogs are like old people. They're sweet, they're sassy, they're grumpy, and they're certainly playful. What do you think about that? Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA. That is the way to get through. Let's go to Terry in Lake Forest. Hey, Terry, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. How are you?
I could not be better, Terry. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you. I just adopted a new kitty yesterday. I called a few months ago, and my kitty that I had got FIP, and I had to put him down.
Oh, yeah, I remember the call.
And I had him for about 3 months. And then my other kitty got lonely, so I decided to adopt another one, and I just adopted one yesterday from a shelter. And the one I adopted is used to being around a lot of cats, and my kitty is not. But they told me to keep him quarantined from each other for about 10 days, and then after that to introduce them to each other. And I've got their feed bowls on each side of a door where I'm keeping the new kitty quarantined. And she's crying a lot at night, which I think is because she's not around anybody else, which she's used to being around a lot of cats. I just want to know.
A couple of tidbits of advice. Has your cat ever been around other cats?
Very little.
And what's her reaction been?
Well, his reaction has been to, like, hiss, and he stands on the other side of the door, and when he senses the other cat is close to the door, he hisses and growls.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. I'm glad that this rescue, with the shelter, wherever you got the cat from, I'm glad you adopted the cat. However, I don't agree with them in terms of a 10-day period before there's some type of introduction. Living for 10 days separated like that can actually cause more animosity. So here's what I recommend. First thing, most importantly, is scent swapping. We talk about that all the time. Take the scent of the cat that's been in the house, put that with the new cat, take the scent of the new cat, put that with the older cat or the cat that's been there longer, right off the bat. If you normally feed your cat once a day, let's start feeding your cat not more food. I don't want him chubby, but let's start feeding him 2 or 3 or even 4 times a day while the new cat is there. Do you live by yourself? Is there someone else in the home with you?
No, I live by myself.
Do you have any close friends you can work with?
Yeah, but they all work.
Okay, but no, this could be done in the evening. Here's what I want you to do. Okay. After you've done the scent swapping for a couple of days, what I'd like you to do is you can hold your cat, the cat that's been with you, have a friend hold the kitten, sit on opposite sides of the room. When they ignore each other for a couple of seconds, that's enough for that day. Then after you've done that for a few days, you see what kind of reaction you're getting. If their reaction is like they're adapting to each other, we're way ahead of the game. Then what I want you to do is make sure when you make that introduction for the first time, there are so many brand new things that the cat that lived there previously is totally infatuated with all the cardboard boxes. If you're not tripping over boxes and bags, there's not enough stuff down. That's where you need to be right now. Listen, it may sound like the Armageddon the first few days, but little by little, they will adapt to it. So you have to remember, I've had as many as 35 feral cats at one time. That's why I have gray. That's why I'm totally gray at this point. But I got to be honest with you. You have to be real patient. You got to give them some time. It's like I said to the woman who called earlier with the Papillon. Give them some time to decompress, a little bit of time for the cat to adjust that she's not in the shelter anymore. And I think what's going to happen is once the male cat, once the cat that you have, it realizes that he has a new cat in the household and he's getting even more attention than ever before, they will bond with each other, and you'll call me up and say, "Hey, Warren, they won't leave me alone, I promise." Terry,
thank you so much.
Terry, you're such a love. Did I send you something last time?
You did. You sent me kitty lickies, and Ollie loves them.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I can't send you something again, but I want you to do this. I'm going to donate a prize, but I want you to go to my website, thepetshow.com. Don't forget that THE, thepetshow.com, okay? I want you to Google, you can look for the first pet psychology. There's a little question mark at top, or you can type it in, first pet psychology. It'll take you right to the article. I think it'll really make a big difference for you. And I do appreciate the call, and give that, what's the new kitten's name?
Smoosh.
Smooch. And what's the other one?
Ollie.
Smooch and Ollie. You should have went Smooch and Ollie. Wasn't there Ollie? No, that's just my... give Smooch and Ollie give him a big smooch for me, and I really appreciate that phone call. Smooch and Ollie. We should do listener names in the future. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Oh, great calls coming in. Allie's calling me. Please hang in. I may not get to you for a little bit, but I promise. She adopted an older dog. Carmen called. She adopted an older dog. Great time to call me, 866-870-KRLA. Just a reminder that coming up in the second hour, for just a little bit, we're going to be speaking directly with Katie Shannon. She is Director of Marketing for the Maui Humane Society. And if you just happen to tune into the radio station, you may not be aware, but a lot of you realize that when I get off the air here, I do my Radio America Armed Forces radio show, which goes all over the United States and Canada, even Guam. One of the stations I've been on the longest, that's well over 20 years, one of the stations that's one of my most powerful affiliates is KAOI. Where is KAOI Radio? It's my good friend John. I adore him. KAOI Radio is located in Maui. So I know Maui pretty well. I've been appearing there. I did appearances there at the Maui Pet Shop. Great people. I'm going to speak to Katie Shannon. It's not just for a little bit, so we're going to take your calls after that at the top of the hour. And the reason that's so important is I want to hear directly from the Maui Humane Society, not just from the media, from the Maui Humane Society, exactly what they need. Is it donations? Is it other things? We'll talk to her at the top of the next hour. But if you want to call me right now, 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. I promise we will get to you guys. Please, my people with older pets, don't go anywhere. I know I have a lot to talk about today, but I promise I will get to your calls. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. 866-870-5752. Yeah, I know, Alex. I got to go to a commercial break. You guys have no idea how tough it is working with Alex. You have no idea. All right, a quick break and right back to your phone call. So And we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. I'm going to take some phone calls now. I'm going to start with Sunshine. What a great name, Sunshine. We got Bobby, we got Allie, we got Linda. We'll get to all your calls. Coming up in the next hour, at the top of the hour, I'll be speaking to the Director of Marketing, Maui Humane Society. Don't miss that. I'm begging for your help, and so are they. We'll talk to them directly. But then right after I speak to her, we'll get right back to your phone call, so don't go anywhere. But right now, let me go to Sunshine, who I believe... Hello, Sunshine.
Hi.
I just like saying that. Hello, Sunshine. It's a great way to start my day.
Yes. I just wanted to tell you that I have adopted a little French bulldog. He's 13 years old.
Oh, God bless you.
He's 13. And I was wondering, he's got fleas. How can I get rid of these fleas? I've tried things and nothing works. Yeah,
one of the best things to do, there's two ways to approach it. First of all, with a 13-year-old dog, I want you to be really conscious. I want you to get yourself a flea comb. Do you know what a flea comb is?
Yeah, I have it.
You use it. Here's what you do. Take a little alcohol, put it in a little bowl, brush the dog or comb the dog with the flea comb. After every run through, dip it in the alcohol. If there's any flea or flea eggs on it, the alcohol will kill those. That's one of the best ways. What a lovely...
Okay.
I did use
apple cider vinegar because it said, I looked it up and it said apple cider vinegar and water.
I don't know. I guess apple cider vinegar might work, but I use alcohol, but that might work. So, but here's the other thing, okay? We want to be so careful with a 13-year-old dog. What I'm going to do, I'm going to send you some all-natural herbal flea spray. How's that?
Oh, gosh, that'd be wonderful.
Oh, no, you're wonderful. Forget me. No, you're wonderful. You adopted a 13-year-old dog that's blind.
Thank you.
What created, what made you decide? How did this come about?
Well, this gal that I knew, she got in a little trouble and she had to go away. And so they put the dog in the pound, and I went and got him out.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and, it cost $148, but I got him out, and so he's here with me, and I'm going to take good care of him.
I'm sure you are.
If she gets out and wants her dog, she can have her dog back.
Hey, listen, Sunshine, can you do me a favor? Can you send me a photo?
Sure.
Email me a photo.
Sure, I will.
Here's my email number. It's mail at thepetshow.com. Mail at thepetshow.com. Send me a photo.
Oh.
What's the dog's name?
His name is Spock.
Spock. How's he adapting? How's he adapting to your home?
At first he barked all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And now he's calmed down a lot. So, I've got him on a regiment now and stuff.
Well, that's one of the most important things that you can do. I'm going to share this in a little while. What to do when you bring a newly adopted dog home, and it makes no difference what age they are.
Yeah, and I have 4 cats too.
God bless you. Sunshine, I got to ask you: is Sunshine your real name?
No,
I didn't think so.
That's my name that I've always. Carry.
Well, that's because you bring sunshine.
A little girl.
That's because you bring sunshine into the world, adopting a 13-year-old blind dog. If you find that for some reason he's bumping into walls, what you can do is
because he's blind.
Get yourself some cardboard. Get yourself some cardboard boxes. Line the hallways in the house with the cardboard boxes. So when he bumps into them, it doesn't hurt him, and he will eventually. Sometimes when they lose their vision, their sense of smell even gets stronger. So using the cardboard boxes on the side, he'll bump into those, and eventually you can probably remove those boxes, and he'll know the trails perfectly without bumping into the walls.
Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you
Sunshine,
so much.
Do me a big favor. Give him I'm going to put you on hold. Give him a big hug and a kiss. The lovely Suzette's going to pick up. And Suzette, let's send her some all-natural herbal flea spray from my friends over at Nature Vet. Sunshine, I love you. I mean, I really. Hard enough finding a home, but gosh. Let me see if I can squeeze another call here. Let's go to Allie in Claremont. Hey, Allie. Welcome to the show. Hi, Allie. How are you?
Good.
How can I help you?
Yeah, so I adopted this little, it wandered into the neighborhood, and it's so funny how this dog, his name is Snoopy, and it's a Chihuahua. I think either a Corgi or a Shiba Inu mix.
So he's kind of a blended breed, sure.
Yeah, so he wandered into the neighborhood, and my neighbor across the street, which I never talked to, she ended up putting them in a little crate and putting the sign up, hoping that somebody would come by and pick them up, and nobody ever did. So she ended up taking him to the vet to see if he was chipped, which he was, got a hold of the owner, and apparently the owners are an elderly couple in their 80s, and they were decluttering their house, so I guess it came from a hoarder's home. And
so decluttering included getting rid of their dog?
Decluttering their house.
Oh, unbelievable. I don't want to run out of time, but how old is the dog?
10 to 13.
God bless you. Do you have other pets right now?
The best dog I have ever had. This dog is, and I learned from my first dog just to get into a routine, and that works really well with him.
It's so funny that you said that because part of what I'm going to talk about later, rescue dogs need calm, quiet, and to settle into a routine. That's basically what I was going to talk about.
And
you took my whole speech.
German Shepherd.
You took my speech away. God, I love my list. You are the best. Anyway, don't go on. I'm putting you on hold. I'm sending you some Lucy pet food for your dog. Bless you for doing that. 13-year-old blind. Oh, God. Bobby, we'll try to get to your call. Linda, we're going to try to get to your call. At the top of the hour, though, I'll be speaking directly to the Maui Humane, but I want you to understand that I'm going to be on the phone with her for 10 minutes. She's got hundreds of interviews to do. CNN, they all want to talk to her. We're getting her first. But the bottom line is, so don't go anywhere, because even when I break at the top of the hour at 12 o'clock, after I speak to her, I'm going to open the phones right up again. So don't go in. And you're not going to want to miss that as well. Phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. A quick break. And right now I am going to talk about my own amazing And we're back on the Pet Show. So here's the deal. I got a couple of minutes, but I don't want to rush anybody. So, Linda, Linda, you're in my hometown, Santa Monica. I can come over and help your cat in person. So, Linda, don't go anywhere. What you can do is at the top of the hour, I'm going to be speaking to Maui Humane. As soon as I get off the air with her, give us a call back. We'll open the phones again. And Suzette, make sure you get Linda, Marlene, and Bobby right up at the top of the hour. Well, not the top of the hour, but as soon as I finished interviewing Katie Shannon from Maui Humane. I could take your calls now, guys, but I don't want to rush you. Marlene has 2 dogs. Her grand dogs aren't getting along. Linda has a cat that's pooping on the steps, and there's another cat pooping everywhere. The phone number here, by the way, at the Pet Show, 866-870-CAROL. Let me just take a minute to do this. So what you should do after you bring a newly adopted dog home, number one, keep things really low key. You want to give them what I call a decompression period. Now, it varies from dog to dog depending on what they've been through and how long they've been at the shelter. With some dogs, it can be 2 to 3 weeks. With some dogs, it could be 3 to 4 months. Now, here's the most important part. Even though your home is likely much cozier and quieter than the shelter, your dog will still need time to work through the stress of what they've been through. What they really need is calm, quiet, and need to settle in their routine. They don't need more stress during this decompression period. Really important. We're going to break for the top of the hour in just a few seconds. When we do, when we come back, please listen to the interview with Katie Shannon, Director of Marketing for Maui Humane Society. You know the devastation. You know Lahaina has been totally destroyed. There are people there that are contacting me. They don't know if their dogs are alive. They don't know if their cats are alive. Now, I think they can get back in there now, but they couldn't get back in there. And what they're finding is absolutely devastating. And I want to hear directly from the Maui Humane Society. Very familiar with Maui. As I said earlier, one of my strongest affiliate radio stations is KAOI, owned by my good friend John in Maui. Been there for, I think, over 20 years. Great station. Hopefully we can get some information out there as well when I do my national radio show. But I don't want you to go anywhere. You can start calling again as soon as I finish the conversation with Katie Shannon. And please, whatever she says she needs, let my audience help. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. And we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. We'll take your calls again a little bit later. Many of you know, or maybe you don't know, that I've been on the air in Maui for, I got over 20 years on KAOI radio. And I got to tell you, my listeners in Maui, I mean, are just amazing. I get calls, doused by calls from Maui every single week. But obviously, we know what's going on between Maui and Lahaina. Just devastated. And we're hearing a lot of things that are going on. But I wanted to hear directly from the Maui Humane Society. So on with me right now, we have Katie Shannon, who's the Director of Marketing from the Maui Humane Society. Hey, Katie, welcome to the show.
Aloha. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, it's absolutely my pleasure. And I just, first of all, I love Maui. I speak to people there every week on the radio show. What's really going on there and what are the needs? A lot of people say, well, do this, do that. These are my listeners. Every one of my listeners is an animal lover. And I know you guys, you were busy before the fire took place. What's going on now and what are your really dire needs?
Yeah, thank you. So, I will say that so much information is being uncovered every hour. And so what we state now might actually change from tomorrow. So right now, what we are trying to do is packing up all of the emergency supplies donations that we've received, and we are trying to get to the shelters for all the people that are displaced. We have emptied our shelter. We were in SOS Foster right before the fires happened. And our community, as you said, the Maui community is absolutely unbelievable. They show up every time that we need them. Our kennels are open to accept animals that are coming through from the fires now. And ultimately, we are just trying to get out there. The road to Lahaina was open yesterday for a period of time, and it took 4 hours for our personnel to get over there. So for people who don't know what it's like on Maui, there's a highway that has 2 lanes, one going in, one coming out along the mountains, basically. And if there is any traffic, it can take hours to get through onto the other side from, let's just say, this central Maui to the west side, which is Lahaina. And so that took about 4 hours yesterday. And then somebody was tragically hit and closed that road down. So what we are trying to do is getting to Lahaina Civic Center to provide supplies to the people and pets that need it most. But what people really need to know on the mainland is that right now the best way that people can help is through monetary donations. And the reason why is because this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. And we need to be able to have the funds to be able to care for the ongoing medical care, supplies, staff that it's going to require in order to keep these animals alive.
Are you working with, I'm assuming you do know Maui like I do. I got to tell you, you guys pound my radio show every week. Do you have a lot of volunteers that you're working with as well that are helping out at this point?
Absolutely. I have to tell you, it has brought our staff to tears to see how many people have just showed up and said, I'm here to help. And we throw them a volunteer T-shirt and we get them to work. The amount of people that there must have been 60, 70 volunteers yesterday packing up these emergency kits, taking dog food out of the bag, or pet food out of the bag, placing it in a Ziploc bag, placing it with a collar, placing it with a toy, and we had hundreds and hundreds of emergency kits ready that we are distributing to the disaster relief shelters that for displaced people, that they can stay with their pets, because ultimately that is what we want. We want people to stay with their pets, because the ones that have their pets, unfortunately, really are the lucky ones.
Yeah, and I'm assuming, we have no idea numbers-wise how many people have actually lost their pets in the fire or how many pets actually went in the fire. We don't know that, do we?
That's correct. We're estimating about 3,000 pets based on the population of about, I believe it's about 9,000 over in Lahaina, and that comes out to about 3,000 pets.
And so there's still a lot of tragedy to be had. It's just unbelievable. And the fact that you guys are doing what you're doing always amazes me, the amount of work and how people volunteer. And I'm glad you talked about the monetary donations, because everyone wants to donate, whether it be dog food or cat food or whatever they're donating. And the bottom line is, as you said, this is a marathon. I've been involved with the humane movement for longer than I want to say, but it doesn't happen overnight. So it's going to take a long time. And are there people available with the Humane Society? I don't know, maybe not. This is kind of a weird question. Are the people available with the Humane Society to help people with any type of bereavement counseling or talking to them over whether they can't find their pets or they've definitely lost their pets?
It's a good question. It's something internally at the Humane Society that we've discussed. Like our staff are definitely going to be communicating with people that are in severe distress. And we have had people come into our front door so far knowing, there was a story of a family that wasn't in their home when the fires happened. And, this is a story that we've heard quite a few times. And when the fires happened, of course, they weren't able to get back to their home, and they know that their pets were inside of that house. Through imagery, through photographs and videos, they know that their house is burned to the ground.
Yeah,
and they're...
Go ahead.
Sorry?
No, I said go ahead.
Yeah, and, they're just in immense distress. They're hysterical. Of course, they've lost everything. They've lost their family member. They've lost their pet.
Yeah.
And what we're asking people to do that are here locally is to file a loss report if they know that they're missing a pet, because we have heard of reports of cats congregating. We've heard of dogs that are running, and some of those cats do have collars. We've heard of reports of dogs running but with severe burns. And, of course, unfortunately, we've had reports of animals that have died. The loss reports will allow us to reunite any animal with the owner as the animal is coming in. And the other thing that we have is a Facebook group that we are trying to connect our community together, because we at Maui Humane Society, we have limited resources as well, as does everyone here on this island. And we know that the way that we can rebuild this island is by connecting people together. And that's been one of the hardest things about what's going on the west side, is there has been limited cell service. Many people haven't been able to even get in contact with people outside of Lahaina because the power lines have been down, cell service has been down, and people don't even know where to go. So we know that the Facebook group will be able to offer the opportunity for people that need help to connect with people that can offer help. And if there's anybody that can offer help, we highly recommend going to the Facebook group. It's on our website at MauiHumaneSociety.org. There on the homepage, but it's Maui Fires Pets Help Group on Facebook, and it has about 3,000 people joined so far, and we are just trying to connect people to any way that they can get help, whether it's, through organizations, but also through the community.
It's interesting because by the way, I posted those on my social media so they can link directly to that Facebook page, which I think is really, it's one of those pages that you kind of feel good one minute and then you look at it again and somebody else has something else to say, but it's all a matter of helping the animals. I spoke, Katie, one time after Hurricane Katrina, I was a spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security, and I put together this major disaster planning, and people were asking me about it all week, and you guys, disaster planning would have made no difference at this point because there was no time. It just happened so quickly that everyone should have a disaster plan for the future, by the way. But in this situation, it wouldn't have made any difference because it happened so fast, didn't it?
It did. There are the harrowing accounts of people basically saying Lahaina was like a flamethrower. They had down power lines, they had fires, and then these hurricane winds just came through, and in minutes, everything was lit up. People didn't have enough time to respond. And, yes, of course, we do highly recommend that anyone and everyone always has an emergency pack for their pets in times of need. But in reality, this is a complete tragedy.
Yeah.
And it's complete destruction. And people were running for their lives. They had their pets underneath their arms. We have a story of a dog named Roman who was with a pet sitter, and the pet sitter was in Lahaina with Roman's sister, Raina, and a couple other dogs pet sitting. The fires came through. The pet sitter had to run for his life, for the animal's life, into the ocean. And Roman, unfortunately, wasn't a fan of the water. So Roman ran out of the water and was missing for a few days. Raina stayed with the pet sitter, and Raina is okay. Now, it took 3 or 4 days for somebody to find Roman, but we are so incredibly grateful for the community, for our humane enforcement officers, for our first responders, because Roman ended up back at the shelter, and we were able to reunite Roman with his owners. And I can just, the amount of community support from day one through this has been absolutely incredible. But it is, like we said, it's going to take an island in order to rebuild.
So, Katie, let me do this. I know we're going to be speaking again later on when I do my international show, but I want you to give out the information. My audience is incredibly, obviously, they're all animal lovers, and I'm sure they will help out with donations. Where can they send donations? Give me information on those donations in the Facebook page again.
Perfect. So the best way to donate is through Maui Humane Society's website, mauihumanesociety.org. And you can donate directly there. If you prefer to donate through Facebook, we have a Facebook page that is just Maui Humane Society, and we have a Facebook fundraiser going on there. So either we have been having technical difficulties because of the amount of volume through our website. So either one of those, our website mauihumanesociety.org or our standard Facebook fundraising. Additionally, if people need help or can offer help, our Facebook community mutual aid group is called Maui Fires Pets Help Group, and that is also there on mauihumanesociety.org for those links.
Well, first of all, my heart goes out to all of you in Maui, the whole area right now. I've been on the air in Maui for a very, very long time, and I just love Maui and love the people there. Anything I can do in the future, you know how to contact me, Katie. Anything I can do or my listeners can do in the future, I am on your side 100%. You have me. I'll do whatever you need, because I know you guys would respond the same way if we had a situation here in the mainland. So my heart goes out to you guys, but I also admire the commitment of the Maui Humane Society doing what you guys are doing. And again, if they go directly to mauihumanesociety.org, they can donate there, and you can list the Facebook pages and all that stuff is there as well. And I urge my audience to do that, because as Katie was saying, this is not just a moment in time. This is going to be a marathon. This is going to take months, years, and maybe even longer. So support of Maui Humane Society is critical at this point. So please check out mauihumanesociety.org. And Katie, bless you for being on. My best goes to you. If there's anything I can do, let me know. And again, I will speak to you a little bit later. And I appreciate talking with you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
You have a great day now. Can you imagine? I just can't imagine what's going through these people's minds as they can't find their dogs, or they can't find their cats, or they find out that they're no longer with them. What happens? How do you deal with that? I'm going to take a break. Let me give you the phone. Now I'm going to go back to answering your questions. I promise. I need a break myself. But here's the deal. Please, if you can, $1, 1,000, $1,000,000. I'm asking for your help. They're separated from the rest of the country because for like 3,000 miles. I know when we had disasters here, they were some of the first people to help my people in Maui, my listeners in Maui. So if you can log on to mauihumanesociety.org, whatever you can donate, please do. Can make all the difference in the world. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Marlene, Bobby, we'll get to you. Great time to give me a call. If you want to respond to Katie, I'd love to hear from you as well. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. I'd love to hear if you have a question about what we just spoke with Katie or any problem you may be having with your pet. We'll take a look at those. Right now, though, listen, what you feed your pets is And we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. You have a question or comment, great time to give me a call. That interview was a tough one with Katie Shannon, Director of Marketing for Maui Humane Society, hearing what those people are going through, jumping into the ocean with 2 dogs. 1 dog took off. Can't imagine. Please, please, please support them. They need your help. I'll be talking to Katie on my national show as well. But in the meantime, if you can go to MauiHumaneSociety.org, animal lovers got to help out other animal lovers. And by helping, believe me, when I say helping the pets there, it's not just how when you help the Maui Humane Society reunite people with their dogs and cats. At the same time you're helping their dogs and cats, you are just making life once again normalized for those people as well. So please make that donation, MauiHumaneSociety.org. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. I still want to hear from some people that adopted older dogs, but right now let me go to the phone and speak to Bobby in Thousand Oaks. Hey, Bobby, welcome to the show.
Hey, Warren. How are you doing?
I thank you for holding on. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I thought I had a problem until I heard about that. But wow. Yeah, I have a little girl cat that was left behind when people moved away, and I've had her for like a year, and I have 3 other cats, and one of the cats, my older male Jack, he's kind of like her enemy, and he'll try to torment her sometimes. But she acts like a male. She howls at him, and and she attacked him one time, and I had to take him to the vet, and he had a terrible abscess that he had to be operated on. And I mean, but
are they getting along? Are they getting along now?
They get along at certain times, and then sometimes I hear howling, and then I see he's tormenting her. He's got her cornered somewhere. But she pees anywhere she feels like it for a year. I mean, I've tried everything. We got 3 litter boxes, and I cannot stop her. She'll just go, and when she does pee in a box, when I throw her in there and kind of like keep her there in the morning sometimes, she pees like a male, like she sprays up high with her wiggling her tail.
Well, she's living with males, you know. She's living with other males. So let me go over a few things to you. Number one, what type of flooring do you have in your house? Please don't say carpet. Please.
No, wood flooring.
Okay,
wood. Yeah. No, I've probably had over 40 cats in my life.
Okay, so you know better. But here's the deal. Most important right now, we need to find out. You say she's peed all over the house. We need to find out where all over the house is. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to recommend is get yourself a black light. You can get them from pet stores. You can go to a lighting store. Sometimes they'll even rent them or lend them to you. What you do is you turn off all the lights in the house. At night, you put that black light on. It will pick up any urine stains in the floor, on the floor, and then you know exactly where the cat has marked. And it might be a lot of places in your scenario. Then once you've done that, I want you to thoroughly, thoroughly, thoroughly clean up those areas with a good enzyme cleaner. That's number one. Number two, you have how many? 4 cats?
Yeah, I have 4.
Okay, you have 4 cats, 3 litter boxes. At this point, not enough, especially if 2 of the cats are not bosom buddies, okay? I want a 4th litter box moved away from the other litter boxes, not for life, but at least temporarily at this point. Once you've found those areas where the cat is gone, here's where my psychology comes into play. I want you to spend more time with her in those areas. She's marking those areas right now, probably from an insecurity aspect. If, in fact, we spend more time with her in those areas, we build up our confidence in those areas, there's probably less apt to want to remark those areas. Also, what I would do is after you spend a lot of time, put some of her toys there, maybe one of her treats there, and just spend more time with her there. But I think in your case, the fact that the 2 of them don't get along, I think that's the reasoning behind the litter box issues. So forcing her into the litter box, not the resolution, because if you force a cat to do something, they say to you, hey, listen, I'm not doing it again. So I want you to get that 4th litter box, get a larger litter box. Are all your litter boxes enclosed or open?
They're open.
I want you to try one enclosed litter box. Try an enclosed litter box, giving her some privacy. I think that's going to make a difference. But you got to clean up all those floors. Now, I got to be honest with you. This is something you're going to love me one day. You're going to hate me one day. You're going to love me one day. You're going to hate me one day. It's going to take a long time. The cat's been doing it for a year, so it's not going to be resolved overnight. I also think you should try to work on the relationship between those two cats and see if you can get that better, because I think that's really the crux of why one of the cats is going all over the house.
Well, all right. Yeah.
That's what you got to do. That's what you got. But first off, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Here's someone else's cat. You took it in, had it for a year, peed all over your house, and you asked me for help a year later. That's how much you have love for them. So let me do this. I could send you kitty lickies. I can send you a copy of my cat book. I can send you Lucy pet food. What do you want?
Oh, the kitty lickies, they love that.
I'm telling you,
how much.
I have to talk to Joey. It's like an addiction. I'm going to put you on hold, and lovely Suzette will pick up, and some kitty lickies will be on its way. Hey, by the way, great time to give me a call. I know we did an interview. I got a couple of open lines, pretty rare. So if you have a question or a comment, your dog is jumping, humping, your cat's not using a litter box, scratching, not getting along with other cats, or perhaps you take your dog for a walk and he pulls you down the block when he sees another dog. If you have an issue with your dog or cat, great time to give me a call. Usually the lines are full, but because we did an interview, I do have a couple of open lines. We're going to get to you, Marlene. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. I hope I have some time. I wanted to get a lot of stuff today. Well, let me do this at least now, and then we'll come back. After the break, we'll come back and try to hit you, Marlene. 866-870-5752. So, what does a dog shake-off look like? You know, it's common to see a dog shake his entire body from nose to tail, just like the dog shaking off water. Dogs will certainly shake their entire body to remove excess water after a swim or a bath, but dogs also shake off when their coats are perfectly dry. Why would they do that? Well, when dry dogs shake off, they're doing a few different things. And I just wrote this week. It's up on my YouTube. If you're not following me on YouTube, you should. YouTube.com/Warren Eckstein. Subscribe. It's free. Anyway, these are the type of things I post. First and foremost, they're shaking off stress. Humans do the same thing. After scary or worrisome encounters, they take deep breaths while saying, phew. Shake-off behavior is your dog's response to dealing with stress. Instead of freaking out and lunging towards something scary, he shakes it off, which is a good thing. Since dog shake-offs are a positive way to deal with stress, they should be rewarded, not corrected. So if you have a dog that, and my dogs do that, every once in a while I'll just shake off, and I've been doing this for a few weeks, folks, and people keep asking me, well, my dog shakes, but he's not even wet. Well, that's why if your dog is stressed, they will shake off that stress, kind of like people scratching their head or just shaking themselves and going, phew, I do that. Denise says I do that 25 times a day. Phew. A phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Hey, listen, if you have one of those dogs, I'm going to talk about this. I will get time. If you have one of those dogs, you put down his food. He looks at you and says, you know, I don't like this. I want to go to a different restaurant. So he moves his food somewhere else in the house. We'll tell you why he does that. Coming up, 866-870-KRLA, the phone number right now. Let me take a quick break and tell you about the amazing people over at Delta Rescue. And we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. All right, so you have a dog. He loves you. You put down his food. He looks at you and says, I'm not eating here. I'm going to a different restaurant. So he picks up his bowl and moves it to a different room. Or maybe just his food and leaves the bowl behind. Why? Well, this is why I do my YouTube channel. Check out youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Here's some of the reasons. Number one, your dog wants to protect or hide the food. In some cases, these are dogs that may have had not the opportunity to get as much food as they normally did. Very often it occurs in multiple dog households where your dog wants to protect or hide the food. Your dog doesn't want to eat alone. Now, that may sound crazy to other trainers and behaviorists out there, but take it from me. I've worked with over 40,000 animals. I've had dogs that don't want to eat alone. If I'm sitting in a living room and I feed them in the kitchen, what they did is they bring their food into the living room where I was sitting and they'd eat it there. A lot of trainers would say, correct that behavior. I didn't say...
Lives in Santa Monica, and her dog is really well... he's a Wheaton, but she's a Wheaton Terrier, and she's fine with most dogs, but for some reason with my son's little poodle mix who's half her size, they just don't get along. So
that's like me. I love my relatives, but I love people, but I just don't get along with my relatives.
It's killing me though, because it's like we can't get along.
Did they both live in Santa Monica?
No, one's Santa Monica and one's in the studio, Sherman Oaks.
Okay.
So I see the one in Santa Monica often, and she gets along with most other dogs beautifully. Once in a blue moon, she'll just not like a dog. But
you know what I think it is? I think it's that West Side Valley controversy.
Oops, I can't hear you.
I think it's that West Side Valley controversy that's going on. Here's what we need to do. Okay.
She's my daughter. My daughter lives and breathes this dog.
How often the dogs have the opportunity to be together?
They don't get together. Like today, I'm supposed to get together with both of them, but now my daughter's going to leave her dog home because my son's not. He's nervous because his dog's going to be there.
Okay, so here's what we need to do, okay? By avoiding it, we're not confronting the problem at all. I'm not going to ever say these dogs will become best of friends, but they can learn to tolerate each other. First of all, you want to meet and introduce them and work with them on neutral territory. Not at your daughter's home in Santa Monica or not at the home in the Valley. You want them to meet on neutral territory. That's number one. One of the reasons for that is if they meet on neutral territory, there's no possessiveness involved, number one, and also there's so many different smells and other things going on that they're distracted a little bit from each other. If we do that for a few minutes as often as we can, eventually they'll accept each other. The other thing that's critical as well is I would always recommend that you take the scent of the Wheaton. I think I saw that dog walking around. They live near the college by any chance? I saw a Wheaton walking around down by Santa Monica College the other day.
Possibly.
I don't live that far away, so that's why I saw. So anyway, what I would do is get the scent of the Wheaton and the scent of the poodle and swap those around. In other words, when you take the dog for a walk or before the dog gets a special treat or a massage, whatever, the scent of the other dog is there to associate something positive with that scent. It's basically using it's first pet psychology. I write extensively about that. And again, if they're consistent, if your son and your daughter are consistent about putting them together, I mean, if they can get together once a week, that would be great. Even more would be even better. But every time they meet, you must end on a positive note. And if you end on a positive note every time they meet, the resolution will take place. It's not going to happen overnight, but I promise you, talking to someone who had 30 dogs at one time, they may not love each other, but at least they'll be able to go for a nice walk with Grandma soon, I promise.
God. Okay. Well, they won't see each other that often. That's the problem.
How far they live away? Come on, how far?
I know, but they just don't. We don't. But well, I'll make a point of it. They're going to have to just get together.
For Grandma's sake.
More often, yeah. What about at my house?
Well, your house is already neutral turf.
Well, it is and it isn't, because that's where the Wheaton attacks the other one.
But so what you do is when they're coming to your house, let them again walk on neutral territory before you bring them into your home. And when you get to your home, make sure that you're tripping over all kinds of things on the floor, new toys, whatever, so that again they're distracted and associate being with each other with something very, very positive. I promise you that one day, Grandma, come Hanukkah or Christmas, you can have the entire family at your home together for dinner, and they'll all get along with each other.
Oh, I hope so. God.
I promise. Just listen, it's not going to happen overnight. May require a couple of glasses of Chardonnay on your part, but I promise it's going to work out perfectly. So listen, what I'd like to do, let me do this, Marlene. Let me put you on hold. Let me have Suzette pick up. We're going to send you a copy of How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. There's a great chapter in there on First Pet Psychology. But in the interim, if because obviously the book's not going to get there overnight, it's going to take a couple of weeks to get there. So what I want you to do is have them go to my website, thepetshow.com. Don't forget that thepetshow.com, and there's a great article there on First Pet Psychology. I just went over it the other day for somebody, so check that out at the website, thepetshow.com. Hey, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. You know, many dogs cannot control their whining when they feel stressed out. It's more of an automatic response. However, it's a clue for humans that something in the environment is causing that anxiety. So if you have a whining dog, you know, it's easy to get upset. I know whining dogs, the sound can drive you crazy, but the bottom line is what a good guardian should do is figure out what's causing the anxiety in the first place. Because once you know the cause, then you can resolve the problem. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. We're going to get right to your calls when we come back. Dana, Rose, Cheryl. Let me take Alex here. Let me take a quick break here, then we'll get right to your calls when we come back. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. And we are back on The Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Hope you guys heard that interview with the Maui Humane Society. If you can help them out, check out mauihumanesociety.org, and whatever you could donate. They can really use your help. But right now, let me get back to the phone lines here. We are going first to Cheryl, then we got Dana, then we got Rose. Cheryl's calling from Grass Valley. Hey, Cheryl, welcome to the show.
Hey, Warren, so happy to talk to you. How are you?
I am doing fine. How about yourself?
Good, thank you so much.
Hey, you got to tell me, where is Grass? You're talking to an ex-New Yorker. Where's Grass Valley?
Grass Valley is in Northern California, and actually the name of our town is Rough and Ready, California.
Is it very north of California? Real north?
It's north of Sacramento.
Oh, okay. Very interesting. So now I know where Grass Valley is. Anyway, what can I do to help you out, Cheryl?
It's gorgeous. So here's the scoop. We have two rescues. They're both the same age. Rescued them from the same rescue. One is a Bichon, Frise, or Frise, however you want to pronounce it.
We call them bitch and frizzies. Bitch and frizzies, that's what we call them.
What is it?
Bitch and frizzies. No, I'm just joking. Bichon Frise is how you...
Thank you. I've never known how to do it. And then Havanese Poodle. Okay. So that's our second one. The Havanese Poodle, Hannah, she had a very tragic story. She had her throat slit, and she was thrown into an orchard and left to die.
Wow.
And some amazing human being found her, ran her to the vet, and could not afford the vet bill, and the rescue rescued her.
So wait, this is the Havanese Poodle mix.
This is the Havanese Poodle, yes.
The blended Havanese Poodle. And what we did, someone slit the dog's throat, threw the dog into a field somewhere to die.
Correct.
Some good Samaritan found the dog, rescued and got involved, and the dog was saved, and now you have the dog.
That's right. And
bless you.
We're so grateful when our rescue sent us her picture, and I just started to cry. I couldn't even believe it. So after a month of her healing, we got her. We've had her for over a year, and she, of course, was initially very nervous, but she's been the most amazing, loving dog. But here's the problem. When we have anybody over, whether it be friends, family, whatever, somebody working in the house, she wants to bite their ankles.
Yeah, here's why. Here's why. The dog was kicked.
Yes.
Okay, no doubt in my mind, besides the throat, the dog was probably kicked and probably abused terribly. And one of the things we need to understand is once a fear-based behavior becomes ingrained in a dog, it's there. It may never entirely go away. But the good news is you can decrease that reactivity, but you have to continue to manage that for the rest of their lives. So one of the most important things to do, if I were kneeling down, what's the dog's name, first of all?
Her name is Hannah.
Hannah. If I was coming to your house right now and I got down on all fours, would Hannah come and give me a hug and a kiss?
No.
Okay, what would she do?
She would bark at you.
Okay, but eventually, with people that she gets to know, she's fine.
No, she doesn't. She barks at you no matter what.
Okay, but no, the barking's not, I can understand, but how long? An hour and a half, 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Oh, for the whole time that they're there.
Really? So she's that intimidated by being around people?
Yes.
Okay. Couple of things we need to do. This is when I wish I was still back in practice. I come up to your neck of the woods and solve this in a day. Here's the scenario.
I would love that.
Yeah. Well, here's what we need to do. We have to approach this as if this dog, and we know the dog was obviously, they slit their throat. What kind of human beings are out there? Here's what I want you to do. Whenever you leave the house.
I can't even imagine one.
No, I can't either.
Even imagine.
Well, I can. As a peace officer in New York, I saw this and anyway, let's go to your dog. What I want you to do, number one, is whenever you leave the house, I want you to leave a radio on, a talk station at all times. At all times. I just wanted to be inundated with human voices at this point. Then what I'd like you to do is if you have close friends or people you can work with, what I'd like you to do is if they can just come to the house, give the dog a toy or a treat, and leave. So the dog associates somebody coming right away with something positive and nothing negative. If every time the dog associates people with something very positive going on and not being flooded, which a lot of trainers do, which I don't do, flooded, little by little, that confidence will build up. What we need to do right now is build up the dog's self-confidence and self-esteem. This is a dog that was never socialized, and generally, these are the dogs that turn out to be your best friends in the whole wide world, as you said. Yeah. But again, the biting of the ankles, it's all a survival instinct with the dog. So what we need to do is build up the dog's confidence. What I would recommend is if you can sit in the backyard with her, or maybe on a leash and a harness, and have some people come over and have them sit around a little bit of a distance away from her till she calms down a little bit. That's enough for that day. Then little by little increase it. I have taken dogs out of dog fighting rings. One on Long Island that was atrocious. I mean, the dog had no ears left. But the bottom line is very similar situation, except that it took me about 3.5 to 4 months to readjust this dog to human beings being okay, because every time he saw a person, he would panic. And he did come around, as they all do. But a little patience. Just make sure every time she's around people and ends on a positive note, and little by little, she will come around. It's been a year. I know that sounds like a long time, but you need to establish a certain pattern and be consistent with it, and we can resolve this for you,
Thank
Cheryl.
you. And thank you. That's a phenomenal idea. Of course, I knew you'd have one, but we leave a TV on for both of them anytime we leave.
Okay, but do you leave them on a channel that's mostly talk?
Oh, so just put talk radio on, put you on.
Well, yeah, you put me on. Yeah, go ahead. But no, you really talk radio is critical. It's even better than TV, and I'll tell you why. There's no visual there. There's no visual, and there's not the commercials and different sounds going off. It's consistent talk, and that's why I think hearing voices all around him without being intimidated by them or ultimately realizing that when he hears somebody, nothing bad's going to happen, I think that would be important. Also, what you may want to do, if you have a close friend, take an article of their clothing, let your dog get familiar with the smell of that person, and then gradually introduce your dog to that person in your backyard so the dog's already familiar with the scent, familiar with the sound, and little by little, I promise the next thing you're going to be, how can I get this dog to stop kissing everybody, Warren? I know that's the next call you're going to make.
That's hysterical. I thank you so much. I'm going to take every single suggestion. I'm going to let my husband know because, I mean, we love these dogs. We're so in love with them.
I can tell. Listen, so what I'm going to do, Cheryl, is I'm going to send you a copy of How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. I want you to keep me posted.
You.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. And also, I do a lot of tips with assertive and aggressive dogs. Check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Lots of times I'll do quick 1-minute tips where someone call me up with an aggressive dog, or sometimes I'll do longer. So check out the YouTube channel. But in the meantime, I'm putting you on hold. Give those dogs a hug and a kiss. God, had its throat slit, a little Havanese Chihuahua blended breed. Who could do that? Now you know why my T-shirt says, "None of my friends walk upright." And by the way, if you would like one of those T-shirts, you can go to my website, thepetshow.com. I think the T-shirts are like $14. I'm not sure. But anyway, that money goes directly to my Hugs and Kisses animalfund.org, which is nonprofit, and you can get one of those T-shirts. And we have the new ones out there. You have a whole new logo on it. It says The Pet Show in the back. So check them out at thepetshow.com. And again, if you purchase one of those T-shirts, that money goes directly to the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund. Let me take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get to Dana and Rose. Phone number 866-870-KRLA. Also, by the way, if I don't get to your call and you're listening and you have a question or a comment, I'm going to give you right now the phone number. This is the phone number for my national show, which is heard all over the United States, Canada, even Guam, and especially in Maui right now. That's my national show. It starts at 1 o'clock when I get off the air here. The same type of show. I give away the same gifts. Write this number down, but you can't call till 1 o'clock. 877-725-8255. 877-725-8255. So if I didn't get to your question today or your comment today, I know we're kind of busy. I had some interviews. Write this number down. Start calling at 1 o'clock. 877-725-8255. I'll take your calls there and send you a gift as well. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. And we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Again, that number for the network show, you can start calling at 1 o'clock, 877-725-8255. Let me see if we can squeeze in Dana. Hey, Dana, welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren. Thanks for taking my call today.
Hey, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. What's up?
We have Duke. He is an 11-month-old, 70-pound golden retriever. So he's going to be a big dog.
No, what do you call Duke? You call him the Dukester, right? Dookie. What do you call him?
Yeah, Dukester.
The Duke man, Duke-a-look-a-look-a-look. I know all. I had a dog named Duke once. I know. So anyway, what's your question for me?
So he's regular on his movements, but he's got firm movements in the morning every time consistently. But in the late afternoon, early evening, it kind of falls apart, and then it's soft serve or even less firm. So we're just trying to figure it out. We have a food that we give them. It's called Horizon Legacy Canine Historical Nutrition.
Never heard of it.
And it just doesn't seem to be helping.
Yeah, there's a couple of things you can do. Number one is I would switch his food, and I'll tell you why. I would switch his food over to Lucy Pet Food, and I'll tell you one of the reasons. It has a prebiotic and probiotic formula, which is critical. It's made right here in California. It's a food I know, and what else can I tell you? I feed it to my own pets. So there's also a product on the market made by a company called Nature Vet. And
Say again.
Nature Vet, Naturvet. Okay. They're based in Temecula, California. I've known them for a long, long time. They have a product called Cranberry Relief, and they have one specifically made for a soft stool. So you might want to check that out. What I'm going to do first of all, though, is I'm going to send you some Lucy Pet Food. And what I want you to do is make the switch gradually. Just start adding some of the Lucy Pet Food into the food you're feeding him, gradually taking that away and adding more. If you notice that that's made a big difference for you, then you know it was the food, and the Lucy Pet Food's limited ingredients, so I know it's going to work well for you. So that's number one. Number two, if you don't know, then what I do is go over to Nature Vet, check out their cranberry reliefs. You've been to the vet, I'm assuming?
Yeah, he's been several times. One guy recommended clay. Add clay. That didn't really help. Clay.
There are things you can do. There's a lot of things you can do. Add clay. I never heard that. What I want you to do is let's switch over to the Lucy Pet Food. See if that doesn't make a difference a little bit at a time. What you may want to do, though, is every couple of weeks till the stool firms up, what you might want to do is just take a specimen, drop it off of the vet, make sure there's no parasites, no type of ascarids or nothing like that there. And there are certain dogs that just have a tendency. Does he seem more stressed in the evening than he is the rest of the day or when you come home?
Not really.
Okay,
he's just kind of a nervous dog. We picked him up at 5 months. We should have got him at under 2 months, but
that shouldn't make, even 5 months old is fine. It sounds to me. Go ahead.
But I mean, just in terms of how he reacts to some things around him, he gets a little nervous. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why plenty of socializing, a little bit of time. Don't over socialize him. Don't flood him like the trainer said. Flood him. No, a little bit of time. Always end on a positive note. He will come around, but I do want you to check the stool specimen with your vet. But in the meantime, I'm going to put you on hold, and we are going to send you some Lucy Pet Food. And I do appreciate that phone call, Rose. I didn't get to you. If you want to give me a call on the network show, if you're anyone out there, it's the same type of show. I give away the same type of gifts. The phone number, you can start calling at 1 o'clock. Be patient. It goes into Washington, D.C. You know what that's all about. Radio America, Armed Forces Radio. We'll take your calls there. That number is 877-725-8255. And again, from my heart, please, if you can help out the Maui Humane Society, they can really use your help. They would help us. I want you to go to MauiHumaneSociety.org, MauiHumaneSociety.org. Donate what you can. The animals will appreciate it, and I'll keep you posted. 877-725-8255, the phone number for the network show. I'm Warren Eckstein, and thank you for listening to The Pet Show.